It's August already. That is nuts, but time keeps marching forward, and it's time for another TBR for the month. Summer is fast fading in 2025, and there's still reading to be done. Let's talk about what I am reading in August 2025. And this is Minnesota, who would like to talk to you and say hello. Say hello. All right, so I'm actively reading right now Red and the Black by Stendhal. Last month in my TBR, I said I was going to read John Steinbeck, and at the very last minute, I pivoted for silly reasons, but I think readers can understand. My version of East of Eden, which is what I was going to read, is one of these. Is like a hardcover, really nice edition. At the last second, as I was packing the car, I really was like, ooh, it's a nice book, and it's a hardcover, which is not the best road trip like format of reading. What I really want is like a floppy old paperback. And I had one of the Red and the Black, and this has been on my TBR for a little while. And so I picked it up and read it on the road trip, and I'm about a little over halfway through. It's okay. Maybe I'll talk more about it on the wrap up, but it's well written. There's interesting psychological angles. The main character, I feel like it says a lot that I can't remember, and I'm actively reading this book. Julian is interesting at some points and frustrating at other points. Honestly, for me, the style is kind of similar to Tolstoy, one of my favorite authors ever, but feels to me kind of a click lower, and the story just a little less interesting, and the characters a little less, everything's a little less, and so I just keep feeling like I should just be reading a Tolstoy novel. That's unfair. It's one of the best authors of all time, but something about this writing reminds me so much of Tolstoy that it's distracting almost as I'm reading this, so I don't know if I'm going to like this one, but we'll keep going. Another pivot that I am doing this month is, I said on my wrap-up just like a couple days ago that I was going to take a break in August and take a break from Abercrombie, because I've been reading a lot of Joe Abercrombie, trying to get to the Age of Madness trilogy, which I was going to start in September. And I meant that when I recorded it a couple days ago, and now I have changed my mind. And again, that's like a function, like a life function thing. I was going to read a Malazan book, I'll show you in a second, a novel of the Malazan Empire, but I'm going to a family house at the lake this weekend, and there's not electricity there, or not in all parts. You don't need to know the details. I need something that I can read on a Kindle is the specific thing, because I read it at night and there's not as much electricity, and I wanted that. So I had to find something on Kindle, and Age of Madness, the first book, A Little Hatred, was at the library, an ebook that I could get immediately onto my Kindle. It's on my Kindle right now. So I am starting the Age of Madness trilogy. I'm trying to get some live discussions with other people who really like that trilogy, because I really want to love this, to be honest. I feel really left out that I have not been, completely bowled away by Abercrombie like so many people have. Now, I am coming off of Red Country, which is probably my favorite of his, that or Best Served Cold, and I thought all of the standalones were better than the original First Law trilogy. So I'm pretty excited about this. People I trust really like this trilogy, so I'm hoping that I love The Age of Madness. If you're watching this, let me know if you know some fellow YouTubers who really like and speak well and informatively on this trilogy, and I can maybe invite them on. The book I was going to read, but pivoted from reading immediately, but I will read at some point this month, is the next book in the Novels of the Malazan Empire by Simont, which is Blood and Bone. I finished Orb, Scepter, Throne in July. I haven't posted my review, but it will be soon. I'm marching through this series, and all of these have been much better since Return of the Crimson Guard, which I know a lot of people say. I just had to wait a little while before I really got myself in high gear, and so I'm back on this. I'm excited. I know very, very little about what is in Blood and Bone, and I kind of like it that way, and we're going to see what happens. Another novel of the Malazan Empire coming up. I also mentioned on my wrap-up a couple days ago that I read All Systems Red for the first time, the first book in the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells, and loved it. I was surprised by how much fun I had with it. I literally read it in one sitting, or listened to it in one drive, to be completely accurate. And I'm currently listening to the second one, which is Artificial Condition, which so far in 2 chapters is really, really good. And I will basically, when I get those audiobooks from the library, I will be listening to them, because I just find it such a fun world, and the main character, the Murderbot, is such a the voice is so distinct and well done that I'm excited to keep going in that series. So Artificial Condition, and the next one is called Rogue Protocol? No, that's a Mission Impossible movie. No, it is. Is it Rogue Protocol? Yes, I think I'm right. Rogue Protocol will be the next one. I feel like I'm only going to be able to get 2 of those from the library because there's a big long waiting list, which is fine. I'm glad people are reading them, but I will be listening to those on audiobook when I get them. I like how this has become sort of a pro get to the library TBR, because I believe that very deeply. A series that I took a break from in July that I think I'm going to just kind of steadily be taking bites out of for the next couple years is Discworld. I read the Death Trilogy, Mort, Soul Reaper, Soul Music, Death Reaper, Soul Music, those 3, and really loved Mort. The middle one didn't love, and then the final one, Soul Music, I had a fun time with. And one of my friends had a great suggestion, I think it was Zane, that maybe instead of reading like full series of the Discworld universe, which is what I was planning to do, like next I was going to do City Watch, and then I was going to do the Witch books, and then kind of go like that. He suggested maybe I'm the kind of reader, because one of the things I didn't like about the Death Trilogy is it felt kind of samey after a little while. Like the first Mort was so good, and then it's like these themes keep coming up in the same and similar ways, just a little changed. He said maybe you should just read in publishing order, because the way that Terry Pratchett wrote them is just, he changed it up. Like now there is a City Watch book, and now I'm going to do a Death book. Now I am going to do a Sister book. Now I'm going to do a, this book. That maybe that change in tone and goal will really help you out. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm going to try that approach next, which means I am going to read the first one, which is The Color of Magic. I just realized this is the Americanized COLO. I was assuming it was going to be Color. You weird Brits. Of course, I'm a little hesitant because many people have told me this is one of the worst Discworld books, but I want to start here, and I actually have it. I forget why it's in my collection, but I did own it. So I was like, it's less than 300 pages. I'll bang it out. I have low expectations. So even if it's just okay, I'll get some use out of it, and then we'll kind of get the ball rolling on Discworld again. If you disagree with that strategy, let me know in the comments below, and we'll go from there, I guess. If you agree with it, let me know too. I don't just want negative comments, please. Next up, another series that I've taken a brief break from because I read the first 3 so quickly, the first trilogy, and loved them all, but felt like I needed to, inhale over the summer, but I'm ready to get back to, is the Red Rising series. I read the first trilogy, the full, kind of initial Darrow arc, I guess, and loved it. It was great. I have a review on it that you should check out. I liked it much more than I expected, which I caught from YouTube generally that this was a series that maybe people didn't hang on to after they read it, and that has not been the case for me. I loved it. Yes, some of the themes maybe are not as deep as they could be, but the actual experience of reading is really good. It's a great page turner and has a good general sort of anti-class message. But all that to say is Iron Gold I'm going to read in August, which is the next book from Pierce Brown. My understanding is that this is 10 or so years after Morningstar, which is the final in the original trilogy. I don't even know if it follows Darrow or he has kids or what. I actually don't really know much about this again, and I'm happy about that. So this I am curious of, because for some reason Red Rising just seems to not exist on my particular BookTube viewing habits. None of the people that I watch talk about it a lot. It's not in a lot of top 10s of booktubers I follow. So again, if people know folks who really love, or you really love Red Rising and you have a BookTube channel, let me know in the comments below, because I would like to have some discussions about this with someone at some point, but don't have anyone in mind quite yet. The other thing that I am reading is a history book. I've mentioned this a couple times, but I'm trying to read one biography on every U.S. president during the current president's term to kind of help with some historical context while this country is going through an incredibly difficult time in my interpretation. And so I'm reading a biography of John Quincy Adams, which is fascinating. I think it's called John Quincy Adams, Militant Spirit by, who's the author? James Traub. I don't know how to say his last name. Traub, I believe. It's really good so far. And it's got a great pace to it, which I appreciate in these biographies, especially because I'm reading a lot of them. And John Quincy Adams is a fascinating figure of U.S. history that isn't talked about enough. So maybe I'll make a whole video about that. I haven't done any presidential videos yet because I'm not sure if people want them, but I kind of want to. I love history. I want to talk about it a little more. So that's my TBR. It's a little ambitious, and August, there are travels, just like a lot of us have at the end of the summer and school starting again, which obviously I don't have kids and I'm not going to school, but it just seems like that makes the year a little busy. So who knows if I'll be able to read all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books that I have on the calendar, but maybe I will. What are you reading in August? Excited about the end of summer? Scared about the end of summer? Excited for fall? I'm excited for fall. Oh, also my to be watched section. I almost left without saying to be watched. I'm still making my way through Ang Lee movies, and I've now started making my way through Coen Brothers movies, which I have a couple of big blind spots with the Coens, particularly one big one I already knocked off, which is Miller's Crossing, which is their big gangster epic I watched actually last night, 2 nights ago, and liked that. I'm trying to think if there are new releases in August that are coming out. I don't think there's anything on the horizon. August is kind of like, a dead month for new releases until September, when we start getting some really exciting stuff and sort of proto-Oscar season starts. I'm kind of rambling now. Again, what are you reading, watching in August? Let me know in the comments. As always, first in, last out.